This podcast represents the opinions of Tyler Barber and his guests to the show. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for the medical advice of a licensed counselor or physician. The listener should consult with a mental health professional in any matters relating to their health or the health of a child. This is the Mayo Lab Podcast with Tyler Barber.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Research Report. We are here today with Dr. Montgomery, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about what kind of happened with the student and give us some insights. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Good.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm Dr. Erica Montgomery. I am a clinical mental health counselor. I've been a counselor for about 15 years. My clinical focus has been in hypnotherapy, mindfulness, meditation, and working with children and families. Maybe not at the same time, but those are just my two different worlds that I walk in. And I'm also a counselor, educator, and supervisor with the university. Finished my PhD in 22, and my dissertation work was focused on mindfulness and meditation and how we can help reduce stress and change behaviors with those techniques. And right now, I'm currently the clinic director at the university's Counselor Education Training Clinic, COPE. And so we do a lot of really fun stuff, a lot of great services for the community.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could you tell me a little bit more about COPE?
Absolutely. COPE is a free clinic. COPE stands for the Clinic for Outreach and Personal Enrichment. And like I said, it is our training clinic. So everyone that works there is an intern. We have doctoral level interns and we have master's level interns. And the master's interns are in their second year of their counseling program. So they're getting to that place in their program where they get to start practicing those skills that they've been learning.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun to help them and watch them grow and watch them go from, being nervous for the first session to like having an idea for their next session at the end of that. So I see so much growth there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So could you tell me what piqued your interest, I guess, in
in counseling?
Yes, in counseling.
Yeah. I think it was just a lot of the things that I went through in my own life, a lot of the things that I experienced growing up as an adolescent and a young adult that were difficult for me. And I realized that, it would have been great to have someone to talk to about those things and that I could be that for people. So just being able to give back.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So what are the most common, I guess, problems, like mental health problems that you've seen in people that are coming through?
Well, that depends on their age. So at COPE, we offer free in-person and telehealth services. So we see people all over the state for free. So we don't just have college-age students. We do have some children, some elderly people, but the majority of the people we see are adolescents and young adults, kind of that same transitional period I was talking about for myself earlier.
Yeah.
And mostly we see anxiety is really high, and depression, stress from school and family issues, and then a lot of relationship challenges as well, whether that's friendships or romantic relationships or, again, family relationships. But we see a lot of those issues, and the way that some of our clients choose to deal with that can be things like addiction or perfectionism. And so we see a lot of burnout as well. Yeah. Kids that are just burning the candle at both ends, and they're trying to take on so much and keep all those plates spinning at once. It's really difficult for them to stay on top of that. So they may do things like isolate or just pull away from their social groups because they're just trying to do it all, and it's so hard, which leads to a lot of loneliness. And that sometimes can exacerbate those problems of depression and anxiety.
Yeah. You kind of answered it as you were speaking about it, but I was going to say, do you think that maybe because it's young adults and adolescents that it's because we're in such a transitional part of our lives, going into college or, finding that first job?
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Stressful.
And your relationships have a lot more at stake the older you get as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, there is so much that's transitioning in that young adult. From high school to college, you have to learn how to do so much to take care of yourself and to make sure that all of your needs are met. And that is a really stressful time in a person's life. It's just that growth in that period.
Definitely. It's kind of like you're being thrown to the wolves a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
So I got another question for you. So say that somebody was going through something, and it doesn't matter like the age or anything, but say they're going through something, how would you encourage them to get help if they were kind of hesitant to seek that?
Sure. I think that being hesitant to seek help is very normal because it can be scary to reach out. There's this stigma around mental health, and I talked about that the last time I was on the show, that sometimes reaching out seems like it's a weakness, but really it's a strength. If you can overcome that and then reach out, really start with talking to a friend or a family member or even a professor if you're in school, and just somebody that you can trust that can put you in touch with those resources. And read about the resources that are available, because so many times people are afraid to reach out because they're not sure what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of scary. It's the unknown.
Yeah.
So educate yourself and figure out what counseling is really going to look like. Research the practitioners in your area and just see, who would I be talking to?
Yeah.
A lot of websites for clinical, like private practices in the community, will have bios for their counselors. And so just go to their website and look at the counselors and, what do they specialize in? Does their picture look like a face that I want to go meet? Just kind of familiarize yourself with that. But know that your problems are valid. So many times it's like, oh, I don't have real problems. I don't need a therapist. But everybody needs someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So especially when you're going through big life changes, just rip the Band-Aid off and jump in there and know that somebody is waiting to talk to you that you can trust.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I agree. It was a couple of weeks ago, but I recorded with two guys, and we talked about men's mental health a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a problem that affects everybody, but we were just specifically talking about men. And we kind of covered it feels like a weakness when you're reaching out. And I'm happy that you touched on the fact that it's really not. It's actually a strength.
It is.
To be able to reach out, because something's wrong and you're looking to seek help. You're looking to grow.
Right. That's right. You're looking for community, people to help hold you up, and that always takes strength to be vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. My next question for you would be, so say somebody may be going through something and say they don't come out and seek help instantly, or maybe they just don't do it. How would you recommend some coping mechanisms for them to maybe deal with failure or just something that let them down?
Right. So the first thing about failure or feeling like a letdown is that your experiences are not your identity. So just because I have failed at something doesn't mean that I'm a failure. And I think that's where we go a lot as people, is we're like, oh, this happened and I felt stupid, so I am stupid.
Yeah.
And then we convince ourselves that that's our identity. Don't go to that place. So really be mindful of that. Is what is the narrative I'm telling myself about myself? And try to approach life with a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. So what I mean by that is, instead of this is a failure, I'm a failure, and I just need to give up, it's what can I learn from this experience so that I can adjust, so that I can do things differently next time, or I can just, choose a different path. And that's okay. That's all it is because everything is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Yes, I agree.
And so figure out what you can learn from the situation and keep moving.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. That's a great answer as well. And yeah, I agree. I think that people a lot of the time it's like part of owning your mistakes, but it's like you actually own it and you take it and you run with it, and then you just it's a destructive pattern. It's like a snowball.
Right. So they begin to internalize it.
Exactly. And it just gets worse.
Right.
And also on the flip side of that, I have a question for you. So say that somebody knows that somebody's going through something. How could that person maybe be a good support system or help this other person? Because a lot of people don't know how to support.
Right. Someone you love or you care about is going through something really heavy and you don't know how to help, and that can feel very helpless for you. Be patient. They may not want to talk to you right away, and that's okay, but let them know I'm here for you. Get educated about what your friend or family member is going through. If it's depression or anxiety, or if it's, just life changes, learn about that so that you can know what helpful resources exist for them.
Yeah.
And let them know that you're not listening with judgment. You're not there to offer solutions. You're there to just listen. I often ask my friends, when they start telling me something, I'll say, wait, do you want me to listen or do you want some feedback?
Yeah.
Because that's two different ways of listening. just actively be present with your people when they're talking. Don't have your phone. Try to reflect back what you're hearing them say so that you know that you're getting it right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And to kind of wrap things up with this last question that I have for you, and this is a huge question, but what would you say the most important piece of advice that you've ever either given or received has been when it comes to mental health?
That is a good question. I had some time to think about this, and there's a saying that tough times don't last, tough people do, but I don't agree with that 100%. I think tough times don't last. The storm will pass. You don't get stuck in that storm. But when you're in that low, low place, you don't resonate with being tough. You don't feel tough. You feel really kind of small, and it can feel hopeless. And so to say tough people last, well, okay, maybe they don't resonate with that.
Yeah.
So resilient people last. People are resilient. People last. And so tough times don't last. Things will pass. And you just focus on what you can control. Really, there's a circle of control that you have, and then everything outside of that is outside of your control.
Yeah.
And things I can control are like me and my thoughts and my behaviors. So don't get stuck on everything that you can't control. Focus on what you can control one step at a time until you've moved through the storm.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer because, I agree. I think that personally, at least, I started feeling way better about situations when I finally let go of the things that I couldn't control.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's really easy to get tied up in that kind of stuff.
It is. And that just increases your anxiety because there's all of this going on and you don't have a grasp on it. It feels like everything's kind of swirling around. You can't get grounded.
Exactly.
So, really getting grounded in what you can control. And, of course, seeking support, that's always important, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you very much for being a guest today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And guys, until next time, keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for listening to the Mayo Lab podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us and being a part of the conversation. I'm Tyler Barber, and if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and share with a friend. Until next time, keep the conversation going.